What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Mr. Straight Facts Show. I am Mr. Straight Facts, so let's get in it. Let's get into it. It is it Tuesday? Time be flying. Um, Sometimes I'm thinking I'm still on like a Saturday or Sunday, end up being like a Monday or Tuesday. But it is Tuesday, July 1st. And one of the things that I first woke up to get this one out the way, because I really don't talk about entertainment news at all, anything of that nature. But Sean Puffy Combs, it looks like they have determined at least four, I think it's five cases, five charges, or maybe it's a little bit more, but they figured out all the rest of them except for the RICO. We don't know what it is. Most of the lawyers are saying that it is more like that he's been found possibly guilty of the other ones. This last one, the large RICO case part, they don't know if they proved that just yet. There are other lawyers who've been saying, or at least pundits who've been on these shows, that if the RICO case doesn't go, they may come back and let it all go. So I know that the Puffy Combs family is probably hoping that be the case, of course. But we'll see. I guess tomorrow might be the day. They got all the rest of them. We'll see what happens if they can come up with it tomorrow, if they find that information out. And that's pretty much all I know about that. The bigger thing, and I know in their family that's one of the bigger things, but in the world, as everything matters, the bigger story in the United States is that we just passed the Senate bill, or the big, beautiful bill that Donald Trump wants. Just passed it in the Senate. It's going back to the House. A lot of people in the House, at least I think there are at least 20 Republicans, right, that have said something adverse to it, that they can't vote for it, or it needs something. Doesn't mean anything, because you never know what these people are going to do. When you look at what this bill is supposed to be about, they tell their constituents that they're cutting back on certain things and they're saving money. They are cutting back on things, but they're not saving any money. This thing is costing more money, just like the first tax cut. And this is what I don't understand, ladies and gentlemen. The first tax cut that Donald Trump gave back in 2017 or whatever it was, that was not paid for. In fact, we're running up our deficits and things of that nature, and our debt tremendously his first term, by doing this exact same thing. And here's the kicker. The tax cuts that he gave in 2017, I believe, they're still in effect until December at the end of this year. So why in the hell are we in the middle of we're at June, the beginning of June or July, and they're trying to rush something in so that Donald Trump can have a bunch of fireworks and shit, while people's lives are going to be destroyed for fireworks? There's a child in the hospital right now that's going to die because he wants fireworks on the 4th because of this bill. There's a grandma that's on life support that's going to die because the insurance is going to run out. There's a family member that's going to get sick that has this type of situation. Here's what I want you guys to understand, because somehow we dehumanize this whole process. We think of numbers. We think of people getting money back. I just got a question for you. If you can get $300 back in taxes, which will be probably what some of you guys are going to get back, for the majority of you, you're going to end up paying for this, not getting money back. But you think you get money back. But let's just say you get money like you did at the stimulus. Are you willing to take a $600 check, money back, if it means 10 babies have to die? You're a sick bastard if that's something you care about. $600 and a baby or 3 or 6 dies because you get $600 back. Even when you break it down, the top 1% is going to receive somewhere like $383 million back. on 83 million, 383,000, sorry, $383,000 back. That's a person. One person may get a $383,000 check put into their bank account while you get 300 or 600, and you're willing for babies and grandmas, cousins and aunts, family members to die for it. 17 million people without insurance. The reason why we created the Affirmative Care Act, right, Obamacare, was because we needed more people taken care of. Our system was costing us more by people going to emergency. So now what? Those 13 or 17 million people are going to have to go to emergency now. Because I doubt they're just going to reside to just dying. Oh, I don't have insurance. Might as well just die. That ain't going to happen. They're going to try and save their baby, family member, whatever, and they're going to go to ER. And what used to cost or what could cost with insurance, $600 a month for the family or whatever it may be, and be taken care of, now it's going to cost us $50,000, $100,000. They're going to walk out of there and their baby might be okay. But that $100,000, who the fuck you think going to pay for that? Sure as hell ain't going to be them. That's why we need health care, so that we don't. I'm telling you, people don't understand the system. We don't educate our people about how the world works. You're not prepared once you leave high school or college to live life as an adult. You're just living it to go out. Hopefully you can turn 21 and get your first drink and go out and have a good time. Think about having a family later on in life. And you have no freaking clue how the world works. They don't prepare you for it. Getting health care helps us all. Because if you stay healthy, that's less money out of my pocket if you don't have insurance. We are in this thing together. If we can keep each other healthy, we don't have to dig into each other's pockets to pay for each other's problems. But no, you get people telling you, rich people telling you through ads and promotions, because they're the ones who can reach out to you and talk to millions at a time, because they shell out millions of dollars to advertising agencies to be able to promote whatever the hell they want anytime they want. We have to wait for a viral video to reach 1 million people, which is hard as it is, but they just dig into their pockets and spend $1 million or $2 million, and everybody and their mama knows the lie that they spread. And the truth barely gets out. Your health care, paying $100 here, $600 there with some subsidies, that's going to help you, the next person, and the next person. But when it gets to the point where there's no money coming out of your pocket, you don't have health care insurance, not unless you cutting off the ER, so they just go home and die and they can't go to the hospital. What kind of cold-hearted person is that? But that's the only way it's not going to deal with your pockets and mine when somebody else's family member gets sick. Either that or they have a pay-into system like we already have. They're cutting money back to give the rich people. The top 1% is going to receive somewhere around $380-something million, $1,000 back, right? Each. The average person is going to end up paying money. You ain't getting nothing back. The top 5% is getting somewhere around $6,000 or something crazy back. Is that worth it? For the majority of us? Hell no, it isn't. It is not worth it. But for some reason, these people can get the average citizen to vote against their own best interest, do no homework, don't realize your lives are about to be messed up. Now, you may be one of those who don't get touched that much, and I pray to God you don't. But trust me, you won't be able to spit in your neighborhood without finding somebody who's going to get affected. It may miss you and go to 2 houses down, but your community is going to feel the effects. When you start seeing people in your neighborhood start to lose their homes or barely get to eating, you better lock your doors, because the first thing they're going to do is rob your ass because you got money. That's how this shit works. We're in this together. So if you're not trying to help your neighbors by voting so that your neighbors stay fed with SNAP, your neighbors who have been good but have been working their butts off and just not getting paid enough, having Medicare or Medicaid, if they start to lose, so do you. If they start doing crimes and still living there, property values go down. I mean, just simple shit that you guys, that these people should know. For some reason, they don't know. They literally think they're on an island by themselves, like they live somewhere that nobody else lives. You're not special. Your neighbor is going through some of the same shit you're going through. No matter what race, color, creed, they are. You're in the same neighborhoods or neighboring neighborhoods. You put a squeeze on the next neighborhood, they're going to come and put a squeeze on you. Not because they want to. It's called survival. That's how crime goes up. I understand how people don't understand. If we took care of each other, we would never have to worry about this shit. Because I don't necessarily, in this situation, I wouldn't necessarily want what you got. But if you got food and my kids haven't eaten in 6 weeks, you getting robbed. Everybody would do that. If it came a situation where you're down to nothing and there's no opportunities, and you got a rich neighborhood over here that decided, hey, don't give them Social Security. Hey, don't give them this. Hey, don't give them that. They'll probably move out of my neighborhood. Just because they don't like the way you look, or the fact that you're driving around in a horrible car but living in their neighborhood, they think you can't afford it here. They need to leave. Things of that nature, when people start doing that and not caring about their neighbors at all, that's when this shit starts to get worse. Like I always bring up the movie, and it's a movie, but it's reality too. Even the richest person, Elon Musk, Bill Gates, Mark Zuckerberg, put them on the street with no opportunities. Every last one of them will become a criminal. Hell, they're rich, and many of them are criminals right now. They don't effed over people, not paid people, broke laws and said, sue me. I got enough money to put this in court for the rest of your life. And the people don't do it. They're breaking laws right now. The only thing that you don't think of them as a criminal is because they're billionaires. But take all their money. They be robbing everybody in the neighborhood. They're not above it. And neither is anybody listening to me at all. Nobody's above when shit hits the fan. You thinking of every other way to get it the legal way. And then when the legal routes run out, you thinking about another way. You may not have acted on it, but you thought about it. If you ever hit rock bottom. And when you don't care about those people, why the hell should they care about you? We got a lady by the name of Senator Lisa Murkowski. She was a no vote at first. Walking around talking about, no, can't do this, can't do that. It's going to hurt people on Social Security. Not Social Security, but Medicare, Medicaid. It's going to have a problem with this, that, and the third. I can't do that to my people, blah, blah, blah. And to get a yes from her, she sold out the rest of America just so that Alaska could get something. And here's the thing. I'm not hating on her for it. I'm just saying you don't make any sense. And let's listen to her first, and I'll tell you what I mean by this, if I have the audio set up.
Do I like this bill? No, because I tried to take care of Alaska's interests. But I know that in many parts of the country, There are Americans that are not going to be advantaged by this bill. I don't like that.
She doesn't like it. And understands that. Everybody understands it, doesn't like it. You got a Republican who's voted alongside the MAGA world, whatever, like most of the time, 99% or whatever her numbers are. And she's saying she don't like it, which means she's not stupid. She knows this bill is going to F with everybody. So every state that is represented by Republicans knows exactly what she knows, has heard her preach that to them inside the room. Every Republican that's a senator knows her story, knows that this bill is going to do exactly what she says it's going to do. And the other ones representing however many states they represent are saying, if it's 50 states they represent, is saying, we don't give a damn. She's the only one that cares about an American city going under. And she got a stipend for her city. I give her kudos for Alaska doing her thing. As an American, she's a piece of shit. But as an Alaskan, kudos. But the remaining states and Republicans were in the room talking. They understood what she was saying, so much so that they gave her a stipend and said, oh, you care about those pieces of shit? Those poor people, the middle, you care about that? All right, give her something just to shut her up and get a yes. All while saying fuck the rest of the constituents that they have, because they know she has a valid point. They wouldn't have gave her a stipend if they thought this bill was going to do the opposite of what she said it's going to do. They had to give her an out. Okay, you the sole Republican, the sole senator to receive something for your state. All the rest of them, we just gonna fuck over. They'll get over it.
I don't like the fact that we moved through an artificial deadline, an artificial timeline to produce something to meet a deadline rather than to actually try to produce the best bill for the country. But when I saw the direction that this is going, you can either say, I don't like it, and not try to help my state, or you can roll up your sleeves and do so.
So she rolled up her sleeves and she helped her state. Like I said, state-wise, kudos. American-wise, fuck off. She knows it's going to harm a lot of Americans. But she's the only one who stood up for the Americans that count or matter to her, Alaskans. And you know what's so crazy about it is that she stood up for the Alaskans, which they're going to probably be happy about. But even what she received from them benefits the millionaires and billionaires more than it benefits them. See, she cut out or carved out a little section for oil, people who produce oil, because they stopped producing in Alaska for some reason or another. A lot of them left Alaska. So she's trying to bring them back. So now, because of trying to bring them back, they have less regulations. Some of them will have no regulations, which means a lot of people living near these places will end up with cancer and problems, because she's already, in this stipend she's got, she's stricken the environmental regulations that they have to have. Come here, do oil freely. You won't ever get charged for doing anything wrong. We just need your money. Oh, you're going to kill some of our people? Fuck them. They'll have babies. So even in caring for her people, she literally was saying, fuck you to her people. I got more than nothing, right? Somewhere around 200 and Alaskans will still lose somewhere around $280 million or $200 million around there in Medicare. But she saved something around like $280 million for something else in that state. But still, it's not like she did better than any other state has done for its state under Republican leadership by far. The rest of them are going to lose hundreds of hospitals. Oh, that's it. She did she saved money, like a stipend of $280 million to kind of like help not close down the hospitals. And of course, Alaska is filled with snow and a lot of land and few things far in between. So she saved money for these rural hospitals so that many of their hospitals won't close. She saved something like $280 million for their rural hospitals. But Indiana, your hospitals are closing. They didn't care about you. Other red states, Mississippi, your hospitals are closing. They don't care about you. And these people know, these constituents, a lot of them know what's happening because, it's really a killer. Even though it's crazy to me that there's even 29% of these people that are still like, we want the big, beautiful bill. You got somewhere upwards of 60% or 65 or somewhere around that nature that don't want it, that think it's a bad idea. And many people, complaining about it in social media, on news, that are Republicans, don't know if they're MAGA, but still they're Republicans, and saying this is going to be bad for them. Well, no joke. Now it's going back to the House. Y'all going to have to do something, Republicans, or MAGA. Y'all going to have to call them, do something, because they ain't listening to nobody else. And the only person well, first of all, Trump doesn't care about your vote anymore, so you don't put yourself in a hole with him, because he's closer to death than he is, being a young man and having 30, 40 years left of life. So everything he's wanting, he's going to get, because you just gave him a free for all to do whatever he wants. And the House and the Senate and the Supreme Court justices. So you don't set him up to win, and you to lose. Didn't set yourself up at all for any kind of like stopgap or any kind of like eject button or ripcord. No, you set yourself up for complete failure, MAGA. You have no way out of this. The only people that you can get back would be the people in the House and the Senate, threatening to get rid of them. But if they get rid of democracy, you don't matter. Mind you, these people literally got 3 years and about 5 months or more. We've been in this for 5 months. Just turned, 21st would be 6 months. We're in this less than 6 months, and all this shit that's happened in less than 6 months. You got 5.5 years, or 3.5 years, 3.5 years of him consistently tearing America down. He ain't building up shit for us. He's building up for white, racists, yeah. Doing his best for that. Got his little alligator, Alcatraz. These people that are going to these things aren't even criminals. Do you hear what this man is talking about? If you listen to a SOT that he has, of audio he says earlier today, they're asking him a question. Like, is this like a deterrent for them to run away and blah, blah, blah? And he's like, well, I guess so, huh? They get out of there and they get a snake, basically kill them. And that alligator's going to get them. And, like it was a sport. Like I said, I want you guys to know the history of this country. This is why, again, no disrespect to anybody else, but I'm telling you, regardless of what you may like or dislike about black people, you need to open your ears and listen to them, because they ain't got no reason to lie to you. They don't get shit out of it. I never understood how people talk about pulling the black card and all this shit like that as a benefit to black people. When we talk about pulling the black card, we're letting you know how bad other races have been in this country, and specifically racist white men. We're warning you about them, and you act like we're the ones that are the bad persons because we tell you about them. If you go back into history, you'll see. And we weren't making this shit up. And look how it's repeating itself. Donald Trump and others, and especially like in Florida where this is at, there are wild animals there in this particular area. And these people are in tents, not in metal houses, not in like wooden houses, tents wild animals can tear through. They're in areas where wild animals are at. Snakes, wild animals are there. Alligators are there. What does that remind you of, black people? Maybe white people who've learned about the history. Remember they used to cut the babies out of slave women and play a game of throwing them like bait to alligators right out the womb? You would think that shit's a horror movie, like it would have never happened in real life. You would have thought it was, Freddy Krueger scene that we remembered. No, these were real white men, racist as fuck, evil as fuck. And you think that shit's in the past? They're putting innocent people that came to this country to get away from people to kill them and their babies into a cage where they can't get out, like a moat of fucking alligators, which will do what? If their baby's wandering out, it will kill them. If it breaks into the facility, it will kill them. And what do you think these racist white men who have put this fucking make together bullshit together are going to do about it? Nothing. Probably have a chuckle and throw the body parts inside of something and take it out in the middle of somewhere and say they're still in prison in that area and dig it. Or feed it back to the other alligators as fucking bait. I don't put it past racist white men to do this shit. Because this is the history they come from. They don't try to fool you and told you, we're not like our ancestors. You are your fucking ancestors. Look what you're doing, and you're acting like it's another fucking Tuesday. We're going to put people in cages that came here to make a better life for their families, have not broken the law, have not raped nobody, have not killed nobody, and you're building institutions to put them in. They're not prisons. We're just putting them in detainees. Okay, you're detaining them in areas in which the area, natural life, could murder them. Why? They're leaving a place where people tried to kill them to come to a place that says it's like this shining place on a fucking hill. Give me you're tired, you're yearning to be free. I'm going to send them to a prison, detainment camp with wild animals and laugh about that shit like, well, I guess they can't get out. They're not criminals. They're gathering up people. They said 3,000 they're going to try and find a day. Hello, people. I just want you guys to pay attention to something. If you think 3,000 murderous, criminal, gang members are crossing our borders on the daily, you are not only stupid, you are unaware of anything whatsoever. These people are not all criminals. For the most part, out of the millions who have come, the most they can even record to say that there have been crime in the last decade have only been a couple 100,000 in over a decade. And you're telling me, and they don't kick most of those people out, and you're telling me there's 3,000 that you can gather every day in perpetuity, that you need more of these buildings. They have one, and they're talking about building another one coming here soon. And Donald Trump said he might have a third one coming. Why are these rich people giving monies to build prisons for people who are coming here for just freedom? And you wonder why people aren't coming over the border in droves anymore? Hell, they'd rather take on the criminals who are out there raping them and killing them than come to a country that's going to put them in jail because they want freedom. Ask yourself, where is the real process of getting into this country legally? Where did it go? Because they turned everybody who comes here, especially brown, into a criminal. We have not heard about the legal immigrants at all. Have you seen, not that it's not happening, I'm just saying, have you seen where they used to show you a gang of immigrants waving the flag, becoming new Americans, and then they interview them and say, how do you feel to be an American? It's been a long, treacherous, long time coming, and I love America, and blah, blah, blah. When have you seen that? You ain't seen that shit. Ain't even being promoted. They ain't even talking about those people who are doing it legally and doing exactly what your parents, and if you're not a descendant of a slave or enslaved person, all your family members came here this way. And this is how they were treated, your ancestors. And they act like they're not immigrants. Donald Trump is just too removed from immigration. His mom was an immigrant. His dad wasn't. He was the first one born here, and his grandfather was an immigrant. So you sit here and think you're two away. And you're, boy. How soon they forget. How soon they forget. This white supremacy shit is a disease. They really think that it means something when they made up the term. They have gotten into this cult of whiteness that they really think whiteness means something when they're really like Irish and Italian and European. They really think white means something, like it's some kind of supremacy based off of a color. And you can't tell them anything different because they're just not bright people. Lisa Murkowski just represented her people and got them a little stay for a little while. And then it's going to revert back to what's going on with everybody else in this country. And she doesn't realize that California, New York, other big states, maybe even Texas, we send them monies. Our tax dollars fund shit for them. What do you think is going to happen when people who are Democrats that have to vote on giving Alaska any damn thing in the future? Why would we care about Alaska when Alaska didn't give a shit about nobody else? They never think about repercussions, consequences, because they don't think it applies to them. They're so much into getting billionaires what they want that American citizens don't matter. They divide and conquer. They get poor white people, racist white people to vote against their own best interests, to put them in power so they can get close to rich people and give rich people every fucking thing they want. And then say, I'm doing it for the poor people, because they're too stupid to realize they're breaking these poor people. But saying the opposite of what they're actually doing. I'm saving it. I'm doing whatever I can for my people. Really? What are you doing? Saving 200-something million. I'm saying, oh, really? So you're saving them 200-something, but you're saving the rich people 280. And you're putting out this situation where everybody around you is going to get sick when they start putting all these things around these homes where they stop doing it because of environmental reasons. Now the environmental reasons coming back, and you're telling these people who are doing it that they won't be charged because they won't have any regulations. Please come back and kill our citizens by giving us some more money. What it amounts to. But they never dig deeper than the surface. American citizens, I don't understand how you don't know what's in your best interest. Black people look at that shit all the time, the ones who vote. Because trust me, there's some black people who don't do it as well. But the ones who vote and focus on their communities and the United States and other people, other cultures, I know I'm alongside you. I don't understand how they live life just willy-nilly. And then they got bitching and moan sessions, and they ain't got no way of doing anything to fix it. They fuck themselves over constantly. And then want people who are responsible, us adulting people, to somehow fix it. and then say voting doesn't matter. Really? Had you voted this fool out, you think you'd be going through the hell of all these tariffs and shit up and down? Do you really think by now, if it had been, if we had just stayed calm and steady and made a few changes to improve the economy and left these tariffs the way they were, low and affordable for all of us, the price of eggs would be down right now. The price of gas would be way down right now, following that trend that it was already following, right? All of this shit, even the Jerome, the guy who talks about, you know, like the our interest rates and things of that nature. Can't remember the last name for some reason, but he even said if we didn't have these tariffs, they would have probably cut interest rates already, because it was already in the trend for them to lower them. But because he's been fucking around, they can't, because what? The value of our dollar has dropped lower than it's ever done since like 1976 or some shit. But you still don't hear these people talking like, man, he's fucking us over. You don't hear enough of these Republicans going apeshit about this. It's like, yo, do you understand? The dollar bill is down lower than it was in the fucking 70s. That don't bother you none. That doesn't bother you none. It's dropped faster than it ever did. And that doesn't bother you none. You still think he's good with the economy. They talk about the stocks going up and stuff like that, and they're doing well. That's all a ruse, because they don't know what this man is going to do. They're buying and buying and buying because they figure he's going to take care of the economy. But if he keeps on with these tariffs and going up and down with it, postponing them, that shit's going to drop like a rock. And keep an eye on the bonds. The moment Japan or China starts selling our bonds, we're in for a long ride of fuckery. Pay attention. People don't know, but just pay attention. This man is putting America, he is testing the hell out of America's strength around the globe. Our trust has been shredded. Who wants to make a deal with America? He's talking about 90 countries want to make a deal. 90 countries? He's got 1 1/4 of a fucking deal, and they really aren't deals. They're really like going back to what they were prior. Why go through all this shit when you're going to get the same deal? And why would I make a deal with you when tomorrow you're going to have a different thought of our opinion of what you should do? I ain't going to sit here and tell that person, oh yeah, tomorrow, okay, we're going to make that deal. Okay, great. And then 2 weeks down the road, you're going to be like, you kind of suckering me. I'm going to put a hold on that, throw 145% tariff on you until you come back. You got to understand, the last bill we had, USMCA, that was Donald Trump who revised it from NAFTA. So it went from NAFTA, kill that deal when he comes in. Let's do this USMCA. He did that. Biden stuck with it. This fool came in. That's a horrible bill. Who would ever do it? You, dipshit. You created it. Now you don't tore that up and trying something else. These countries are like, what the fuck? How can we trust this country? Because whether you like it or not, Donald Trump represents the country. And they know these citizens are like, fuck, we can't. But we're not the ones empowered. Now, if we don't rise up and get rid of this fool, the rest of the country, the rest of the world, they can't help but look at Donald Trump and say Donald Trump is us. They have to treat us like they treat Donald Trump. If he's the laughing stock, the American citizens are the laughing stock on the globe. Can't bomb your way out of turning into a shit person that nobody can trust. You can't. You'll make enemies everywhere. And if we are alone in isolation, we're not secure. All you need is 2 nations that have nuclear weapons to go against us. And that could be Russia and China. And we're done for. Done for. As far as power that be, that idea that we done built up over years and centuries, that shit goes out the window once two major powers join together to say fuck America, whether through economics, by changing to the BRIC system, by destroying the dollar, or through war. They both have weaponry, and they're both large countries, and neither one of them are scared of us, no matter how much we talk a good game. You know what that bombing shit they did in Iran tells all these other countries? Look at them. They pulled the trigger quick. No strategy. They're being run by a bunch of dumbass people. We can outsmart them. They could probably outbomb us, but strategy-wise, we'll tear them to shreds. Look what they did. Went out there acting like they did something. They blew up a building or two. Then went out and celebrated. Who does that as far as strategy goes? Nobody. Who brags like that when they got this type of power? Weak people. If I can beat you up, I ain't gonna sit there and be like, I know I can beat you up. I ain't even gonna have no stress. I'm like, we can do this and head outside and handle it. You ain't gonna get me talking 15 minutes. Well, you know, we could go outside, but if we did go outside, we're gonna do right in the neck. I ain't got time for the talk. That's Donald Trump. Talkity, talk. While everybody else beat his ass. He is weak. Anybody with any kind of strength knows the dude that sits there and talks shit all the time and does nothing is weak. Mr. Bone Spurs is wussy. He'll tell everybody else to do what he want to do. He'll be mean to people and shit like that. But if you was in front of him and it was mano a mano, he'd get his ass beat real quick. He'd start calling for his mama. Dead mama at that. Everybody knows it. Throw as much ketchup as you want. It's a wrap. But these people are scared of him because he got all these psycho-ass Republicans around him. And the thing that kills me also, just to deal with this before I end it, Donald Trump keeps acting like he's the best thing in the world. And these people are so afraid of him. When he's the scaredy cat. That's the one that's scared. The one who's got to puff his chest but never do anything. Mr. Taco himself. They're worried about him for the most part, while he's being used by Stephen Miller. He's being used by the rest of them because they know this man is not bright. He got an evil spirit, but he's not bright. He wants to be smart, and he knows he's not. That's why he always talks about being smart. If you talk about something a lot, it literally means you more likely did not have it in your life. Nobody ever called him smart, so every time he says something, he got to be smart. Nobody gave him compliments because he was a dipshit growing up. He wants everybody to tell him he's great. Even if you have to manufacture greatness, he wants to hear it. That's why you see him when he's in speeches, when he's having those little press conferences in a meeting room or whatever it is. Everybody's going around kissing his ass. Well, if we didn't do this for Donald Trump, if I wouldn't have woke up this morning, I wouldn't be able to see Donald Trump. I don't know what I've been able to do. Thank you, Mr. President. Every last one of them go around, say stupid shit, and got jack to do with their job. Just kissing ass. Donald Trump needs that because nobody would give it to him unless he forced it out of them. So does that mean you really are those things? Or these people are just too wussy to tell you who you really are? Because they want money, power, and that's how they get respect. And these other racist wannabes are living vicariously through him. He is their superhero. That dude that can fuck over everybody and never get caught. Never go to jail. They live vicariously through him. That's why they don't want him touched, because to them, he's the great white hope. He's bringing white back. White power is coming back. Look, they can't touch him. He can literally go out on whatever street and kill somebody, and we just be right there and nobody can get him. That's what they love about him. The ghost. Nobody can do anything about him. the head criminal. That's why you see how people who love like these gangster movies and shit like that, he brings those gangster movies to life. Can't be touched. Even though you know he's a criminal. You know he's a rapist. Can't touch him. They live vicariously through him. That's why they attach themselves to him. Nobody of good spirit, nobody that is really God-loving would even step close to Trump. They use that church and love and all that shit just so that they can get other people to still like him. But there ain't nothing but demons around that dude. There ain't one of them amongst them that truly believes in God, Christ, or nothing, the true meaning of him. None of them. There's no way you can. If you read that quote-unquote good book, there's no way you can follow the devil and say that it's Jesus. You can't conflate the two. And somehow they've conflated Jesus and the devil, and they say it's him. Crazy. That's why it's hard to even say that you're going to ever like agree with them or, like, let's just listen to each other and agree to disagree. I can't agree to disagree with batshit crazy. I mean, what am I supposed to do with that? You need to be in an asylum somewhere so you can work on that therapy, and then you can come back to real world shit. And then we can agree to disagree on actual policies, not insanity. If you can't see that this alligator Alcatraz is a fucking joke and an evil one at that, what conversation can we have with you? They're out there selling hats and t-shirts and mugs and shit. I'm like, dude, you talking about putting innocent people who came here for just wanting to love the country to try and get a job so they can take care of their family. Some of them didn't even want to come here to live. They just want to come here and work and go back. And you're putting them in prisons? That's their deterrence. That's why people aren't coming over here, because America is easily becoming a hated country. No beacon on the hill, no like yearning free, no like America is just beautiful. Coming up on the 4th. What independence? Who's celebrating that shit? Not me. This country is not living up to what it says it was and hasn't been forever. Why celebrate it when it's not living up, especially now when it's nowhere near living up to what it says it's supposed to be? Makes no sense. But that's Donald Trump's world. That's these MAGA's world. A bunch of losers trying to be winners by being evil and cruel. Making makeshift prisons. Yo, I thought they was trying to save money. How you saving money now that you building prisons? And Donald Trump talking about putting a regular American citizens in these things. And they're not called prisons, they're called detention centers. He said he was going after the homegrowns. He said that way back when he's on foreign soil in El Salvador. When he was talking to that guy, he said he's going to put homegrown people in it. Meaning that any one of us that they consider to be doing a crime, and you do understand what they did with Jim Crow, right? It became a crime to be a free black man without a roof over your head when you didn't have a job to get a roof over your head. The fuck was that? To create laws that put you in prison for just being free and having no money. These vagrancy type of laws. What do you think they're going to do for poor people, no matter what they are? They're trying to get slave labor. And they're going to put these people in these cages. And then they're going to build factories in these particular areas. And they're going to have them making everything that you wear just like it's China, making it for 2 cents a day and producing it. That's all they're trying to do. And they think that it's no problem doing it because you hate these people too. Might as well put it to good use. They lose their freedom trying to be coming here to be free. And then become enslaved with no crime. Sounds about slavish to me. And if you look at that and like, wow, that's a good thing, you're a shitty human. You're not going to care until they snatch up one of you and start putting people in there like, oh, you were jaywalking. Okay, I'll pay a fine. No fine. You broke the law. I'm going to send your ass to the alligator Alcatraz. But I'm in Chicago. What the fuck I'm going there for? I didn't break no law there. Doesn't matter. Donald Trump has the law on his side, the Supreme Court on his side. We're going to send you to Alcatraz prison, the detention center. If you can't foresee something that simple, like they sent these people to another country, El Salvador, they've never been to El Salvador, most of them, the majority of them, and they haven't been charged with a crime, any of them. They didn't catch them hurting somebody, or they weren't on trial for murder. No, just picked them up off the street. You got a tattoo. Look like you're in the gang, MS-13. Oh, you're not? Don't worry about it. You'll have your time in court. Put you in a cage, send you across the country, no time in court, nothing. The only people that they're fighting for is one dude. When they took hundreds away, where the rest of them at? They are in the news. We're talking about the Abrego guy. There's over 260 something other men that were taken to that same damn prison that we ain't talking about. And they're trying to put him in jail with a fucking criminal. A dude that has been convicted of raping, murdering, of sexual trafficking. Convicted of it, in jail for it. Just so they can get this Abrego guy to say that he did it too. They got a criminal coming out and saying this dude who has no record, who got pulled over working a job in construction with people in the back, they let him go then because there was nothing to charge him with. And now they're trying to bring that back up after they don't let him go and said nothing to charge him with. Oh, he was part of this and he's part of that, MS-13. No, they fucked up. They don't want to fix it. They want to make it so that they're right. So they're going out there to make the narrative whatever the hell they want it to be, so they can put this man behind bars and send him into another country just so they can say they were right when they knew they was wrong. There's got to be some law against these people trying to entrap people into prison by making up evidence or listening to people who are absolute criminals, don't have family around them. This dude has been convicted of murder, convicted of raping and trafficking, and they're going to try and get him, who obviously must have been a kingpin to be in jail like that, just so they can get somebody to say that, oh yeah, he was a driver for us. Did he ever do anything? Nope, he just drove. Okay, you're free. Now let's go get the driver. Send him out the country. But we're going to let the killer roam free in America. If you don't understand this shit is batshit crazy, something's wrong with you. How you going to get a killer to validate another person that at most was a driver? And we don't even know if he was knowingly a driver for that. Whether he just picked up people because they told him to pick them up. Oh, yeah, go pick up 4 other people. Oh, okay, cool. Where I got to pick them up? Here. Okay, cool. Boom. Get there. These people don't have... I didn't check if they had ID. The fuck I'm supposed to check? They told me to pick them up. This is not my car. This is my work truck. They told me to go pick up these 4 dudes at this location. I'm basically a fucking Uber driving to a fucking job. What are you talking about? I didn't just pick them up out of nowhere. I picked them up. And they let him go because all he did was play fucking Uber as far as they're concerned. But they're trying to bring that up and make it seem as though, and again, I don't know this dude from Adam, but they didn't charge him then. They didn't think he was doing anything illegal then. They questioned it. They went through the whole process. He's innocent. Boom. How you going to bring up a case that already said that he was innocent? They let him go some years ago, whatever it's been. Now that you kicked him out and fucked up kicking him out. Now you want to make it right. This man's life goes through hell over you trying to be right when you know you're wrong. There has got to be a way that Democrats or just American citizens can put these people behind bars of trying to rig up evidence to put somebody in jail. That's not how the law works. You either have evidence or you don't. And picking up a criminal to literally say that somebody did something, take it to court. But you got to have evidence. It can't be just, oh, a criminal is just that's their star witness. A murderer, a person who has transported people, human lives, and has raped people. That's your main person. And this dude don't have a record. Never been in jail. This dude been in jail for I don't know how long. No prosecutor would ever bring that case up if it was no other person that could corroborate what this person is saying. There ain't never been a prosecutor do that in the history of prosecution. They got to have the person that's in jail has to have somebody to back it up. Some type of evidence. It can't be just his or her word. Something else corroborates it. It is what it is, y'all. Some of the craziest shit in this country, I just don't understand. When we get to what happened today, the Senate bill happening today, you're going to understand that many Americans, 17 million of you guys, estimated. It might be more, it might be a little less, but they always give you that, kind of mid number, not to be too conservative and not to be, too extravagant or liberal with it. They go with it in the middle. So we're looking at anywhere like 17 million is what they're saying. It could be more of American citizens being kicked off of their healthcare plan. And like I told you guys who may not know, your healthcare plan, if you got any of the quote unquote Obamacare, which is the Affordable Care Act, if you're on that and you get a subsidy or whatever it may be for your insurance, or your insurance for you and just you would say, I want to go with a family because I mean you have. But let's just say for yourself, your insurance would be $600 a month. And right now you pay like $150 or whatever. You get $400 and something, $10 of subsidies based off your income and things of that nature. And that means if you're doing that, that means you're really not making that much a year, maybe 25 grand a year or something. That's it that you're living in. You're living off of, rather. And you got bills, you got a house, you got an apartment, you got a car payment, you got whatever transportation, you got food, you barely getting by. With that, you are justified to be on that program. You can get kicked off. And without that $600 or $400 something, whatever it be, to make that, bridge that gap so you can have insurance, and you're doing everything right. You ain't lazy. You work hard. You got 1 or 2 jobs. You know what I'm saying? You got family you may be taking care of and stuff, things that may not be living with you. But the whole thing is, here you are, barely getting by, living check to check, and then all of a sudden, bow, goes from having insurance, getting checkups, whatever it may be every year, getting your, teeth clean, whatever it may be every year, and those things are pretty much free, or $35 copay or whatever it may be, to literally having none of that shit and having to get insurance, which will probably go up, which when it was paid for through the healthcare system, which will be gone, it was $600 something. But now that you're off of it and they're trying to save money, now your insurance don't move up from 6 something up to 8 something, and you got to do the whole thing. You ain't getting no $150 to get it or go up to $200. You got to pay the $800 a month just for you. You're not going to be able to do that. And then when that caters and you just have a simple sickness, you know what I'm saying? Maybe you just had like a gallstone. You got to go to the hospital. They check it out, see what they got to do just in case, and they don't have to have no operation. That's fine, but you're in the hospital. While they figure out, they run tests. By the time you come out a day or two later, you owe about a good $100,000, $70,000, because you didn't have any insurance. So not only do you have an $800 a month payment, you got $70,000 you got to come up with, making $25,000 a year. You ain't never paying this shit off. That's going to happen to a big percentage of that 17 million. And with 17 million people having to go to the doctor just once for some major particular issue, whether it be gallstones or gallbladder or kidney or whatever it may be, not to say kidney, but when like ruptured kidneys or whatever, maybe through sports or whatever you may have done, broken leg, whatever. You multiply that by not even the 17. Just say 1 million of you. 1 million of them going in having to pay $10,000, $100,000, depending on how long they got to stay, and they can't afford it. 1 million people at $50,000 of being in the hospital for a day is a shit ton of money. That where do you think they're gonna get it from? It's gonna get from you who can afford a $800 a month insurance. You're like, that's cool with me. I got that. I make $200,000 a year. Blah blah blah. Once a year or two goes by with that consistently happening, 1 million out of the 17 million having to go to the doctor for a leg or an arm, or getting beat up by their husband or wife and got to have their retina put back together. That crazy shit that happened day to day. Ain't nobody here has visited an empty ER room. You're always waiting. I don't care if you got a stomach ache, your head hurts, whatever the hell it may be. You have never went to an ER room where the bitch was empty. And here you are talking about that times 1 million more. Yeah, your premiums are going to skyrocket. Maybe not immediately. Year or two down the road, your $800 a month is going to be $1,200 a month. Because these people still can't get it for insurance. Because what? Because the rich people who got the tax cuts aren't offering a living wage jobs. They're buying back they're buying back their stocks like they always do. And then they're buying yachts, a bigger yacht, trading in the old one. And then they're sending their money to other countries that don't freaking tax them as much. And that's about it. They may start a business or two and invest in somebody, but they aren't creating any jobs worth a damn. That was their promise, but they never live up to their promise because there aren't any regulations on the money they receive. Always saying they're going to help and never helping anybody but themselves. It's just pitiful. It's pitiful. I don't understand how people can vote for this man. I don't see how anybody can support this man or anybody that votes alongside him. And you can't talk any sense into these people. You can't talk any sense into them. They continue going down this path of just nonsense stuff. I mean, it's just, it makes no sense. They complain about shit that just doesn't matter. Things that don't even equate. They're taking our jobs. When did you last work on a farm, sir? I'm in construction. Okay, cool. You're in construction, but just because his name is Juan doesn't mean he just stepped off the boat. He may be an American citizen. You just think just because he's Latin and got the job that your white ass deserved it. Because of what? You were better at hammering nails, or just because he still has a Latin accent, you think he just crossed the border? How about learning who Juan is instead of casting what he was or is or going to be, all that shit. Instead of having your ideology thinking that I deserve the job because I'm white and he's not. How about getting to know Juan and getting rid of your racist stereotypes? Is that a bit much to ask, huh? These people are horrible. Horrible. And the only time they got any kind of heart, any kind of feeling, is when it reaches their front door. When it hits that front door, ding dong. What? We need to take you out of here because you're French. Oh, what are you talking about, French? I ain't French. My mom was French. She's dead now. But yeah, she wasn't a citizen, and you was the first to be born. We don't believe in the birthright shit. So pack your bags. Well, fuck all that. We'll grab you and give you your bags back. You're going to France tonight. You're on the 4 o'clock plane. What the fuck is he talking about? I'm going to work tomorrow. No, you're not. You're going back to France. You can stay in here. You're French. Bounce. Not until that shit happens. That's when these fools be like, wait a minute, did I vote the wrong way? Well, no shit, dipshit. You saw him doing it to Latin people. What the fuck you think you were? Better? It's crazy, y'all. Just some of the most insane things that happen. And you just say, how is it these people live without knowing these are possibilities? That these are the things that are happening, and there's a reason why they're happening that way. They do not like these people. It has nothing to do, because if you got to think about it, if it's going to, I don't see how you don't think it's not going to harm you when it's focused on people and you consider yourself to be a person. It's focused on their way of life, and almost every business person is looking to get the cheapest labor they can so that they can keep their business afloat. So they may pay people $9 or $8, depending on what city or state you're in, pay them the minimum wage and hire 2 or 3 people until they start making profit. I mean, that's just business. And then when they start making profit, a good revenue, then they increase it. And then when they get enough to get a COO and all things of that nature, then they have enough money to start paying living wages. And upper management is probably getting a living wage, and everybody else is down, not getting paid that much. And usually those people who are getting paid that much are teens because they got a family they live with. They don't need $20 or $40 an hour. They got a roof over their head. All they're doing is buying stuff for clothes and shoes and hanging out with friends and shit, going to movies, whatever. That's how it used to be. That's how it worked. But they started peeling off, like us kids, when we were kids, we started peeling off and doing other things. Corporate jobs, not corporate, but union jobs left the country. Most of them. You had a lot of them here still left, but the majority of them left to other countries. The ones that are manufacturing products and shit. They want to bring them back. For what? How can you bring something back unless you make the children come back to work like you did before? And Donald Trump came out and was saying, oh, well, we can, got to do something. These farmers, they know their employees. They're not going to hire a killer. Like a killer's coming out and say, oh, what is on your resume? Oh, I pick corn and apples, and yeah, I worked on a farm in Florida picking oranges. Yeah, I killed the owner there. Yep, raped the daughter. Yep, killed the dog. Yeah, but then I'm pretty good. I did pecans and I sold them on the side of the road, and yeah. Like, that's the fucking way they're gonna interview them. They're gonna just tell you they murderers and killers. They know when they're murderers and killers. They ain't gonna hire a murderer or killer. Why spend your life trying to be smart when dumbass people get promoted? Donald Trump shouldn't be no more than a car washer. Figuring out which do you need. Wax on, wax off. I mean, the intellect is astoundingly lacking. Gonna say the farmers know. As if they have a scarlet letter on their body saying killer. Ooh. The justification. I mean, think about it. This is the same dude that said you could put sanitizer in your skin and cure COVID in like a minute. Astoundingly stupid. It seems like a joke. My era, my generation was taught, be as smart as possible. Work hard. Put in effort. Be the star in the room and you'll rise. Things of that nature. And especially when you're growing up black, you got to be 1,000 or 10,000 or 1,000,000 or 100 times, whatever the number may be. It was always some other person in my black family, or be a black neighbor or black friend, parents, was that black people had to work that much harder than the average white person to just to exist. And then to get ahead, you had to multiply it on top of that. And it's so true. Not a lie. There's a reason why every black family is given that message. You got to work way harder than the average, like, mediocre white person in order to get ahead in life. And even when you do work 10 times, 100 times, 1,000 times harder, which Obama did, you have a dumbass like Donald Trump acting like he's smarter. But this man can't even spell coffee. This man don't even know what a tariff is. He's a president. He don't even know the powers he's wielding. He don't even know how they work. Somebody just telling him what to do, and he going out there and telling everybody, this is what you're supposed to do. Tariff is not a tax. No, not at all. We're getting money. See, our bank account is growing. Dipshit, that means you're just taxing Americans, and there's more money coming in because Americans are having less money in their pocket now because they're being charged for your dumbass tariffs. Nope, that's not how it works. Yeah, it does, you dipshit. Just because there's more money in the government, that doesn't mean it came from China. It came from the Americans. The person who's buying it and distributing it, and the store that's selling it, coming to the buyer, which is us, who's paying more for it. How in the hell you got this money in your coffers? Oh, look, we got $300 billion or $50 billion. That means American citizens are $50 billion light. Their pockets are lighter because you chose to charge tariffs. Now, either he's dramatically or drastically or dynamically stupid, or he's evil. Shit, he might be both. But he's an evil genius. In this situation, he's got these fools believing he's there for them, and they seeing money come out their pocket. They can tell their bank has gotten lighter, and they still like, well, it's gonna be a while. I'm like, yeah, you're the gamblers. You're the ones that's gonna go broke. This man's gonna bankrupt your ass. Then you're gonna be like, I guess I was wrong. And then you're gonna ask the rest of us, not even for forgiveness. We gotta do something about it. Like, yeah, you should. You should be doing something now, before you go bankrupt. These farmers are out here realizing that, like, there's a farmer that was there today. One of them, I guess I don't forget what state it was, but he's one of the head farmers. I want to say it was Texas. It may not be, but white guy talking about him farming for years, and he's a producer and all these things like that with, a farmer. And that if things don't change with these tariffs and all stuff like that, by December, it's a wrap for the farmers in America. It's a wrap. There's a lot of them just closing down. We can't survive like that as America rather. But it doesn't mean that Donald Trump won't do it. One of the biggest things in the arsenal for a person who wants to be a quote unquote king is that he controls all aspects of life. How we get our food, how we get our water, the quality of food and water that we can have, how we get paid or not, how many hours we work, how many days we have to work. If we work in the laws of governing in state and federal, he have all these Republicans. They can end up having a point where, it's no longer a 40-hour week. It's a 60-hour week minimum, and that your pay is lesser. So, hey, you're going to make a lot of money. We're just going to take you from $40 an hour to like $32 and make you work, an extra 20 hours a week. No overtime, just 20 hours a week. You make more money, and overtime doesn't start until about 80, maybe even 100. Let's just do a 20-hour gap in there and just get it to 100. These things are possible under a dictatorship. Under a dictatorship, the freedom to own a gun. He could just be like this, take everybody's gun. I don't want nobody to kind of like want to test me. Now he has full power. These people with weapons can't have them except for his little military he puts together. You guys think this shit ain't real? It's real. In this bill, they got more money to give to these ICE agents, creating one of the largest, or not one of, the largest policing force in the United States that has ever happened will be ICE once this thing passes and they start hiring people. And guess who they're going to be hiring? A bunch of racist white dudes and others who want to assimilate with racist white people to get all kinds of people, not just racist, but people who aren't loyal to his ideology, people who speak against him, people like myself, people like you in a room who are against certain things. that you don't believe he knows what he's talking about. People like Lawrence O'Donnell on the news. People like all of that don't like him. MSNBC, ABC, George Stephanopoulos. All of them could be thrown into one of those damn prisons under a dictatorship and have no recourse, no laws, no regulations. What the king says, the king gets. End of story. And if you haven't noticed, that's how they've been rolling. Pay attention to the world you live in right now. The Supreme Court is allowing this man to take people off the street and send them to other countries until further notice. That's not in our Constitution. It's the opposite. Things that Donald Trump is doing is against the Constitution, and they're allowing it. The Republicans aren't holding anything that they're supposed to be doing. They're supposed to be the ones who control the purse. Have they had a purse meeting? Where the money going? How's this going? How are we going to make this? How are we going to make that? No. They're not determining anything. Donald Trump decides. Everything that Donald Trump is doing, where's the funding coming from? They ain't had like one funding meeting. They've been going to the House or Senate and asking for more money for certain things, but not wanting to tell you where the hell the money's going. Pete Hegseth was asked, where's this money going? And he had no belief that the courts nor Congress can make that decision. Just give me the money. We'll decide what we do with it. Since when? The House determines the purse and tells you, hey, this money is allocated toward this. You can't put it toward that. You can't just be mixing the pot. You want it for immigration? Here's how much for immigration. You want it for law and order? Here's how much for law and order. You want it for more agents? Here's how much for one agent. We just don't toss you 50 whatever trillion dollars and say do whatever the fuck you please with it. And that's what he wants. Dictatorship is the type of shit like that. Just give it to me. This is our dollars. And it's getting further and further away from us. We're putting money in and they're saying, F you. Put more money in and we're going to put it wherever we want to put it. Forget the people who represent you. The representatives of your state, federal, whatever, they don't really have any power anymore. There's no need to even have them. Why vote for them if they're not going to do shit for you? And that's a good question you need to ask yourself. If your representatives are not representing you and they're representing the billionaires, what are you voting for? For them to go and not represent you? You need to replace them with people who give a damn about the people, that don't take dollars away from billionaires. If they do, they just take the same amount as me and you can absolutely give. $5,000 is the max for any American citizen. That's what it should stay at. All this stuff we got to do with reform. And American citizens have to stand up and say, we're tired as heck and we ain't going to take it anymore. If they don't see a powerful force going against them, and it's only, and not only powerful, but sustainable, it can be consistent. If it just falls to the wayside, they know you're not as serious as they are because they are consistently effing with American citizens who are middle class and poor. It is a war for the rich. They're going from war to war. Every year is a constant war, and they keep winning that war. And we keep on trying to fight battles in that war, and we keep losing them because we don't know our own power. One man, Elon Musk, the richest man in the world because we buy shit from him and the government gives him subsidies and makes him extraordinarily rich. We got to sit here and be beholden to people who don't care about the people. They care about their pocketbooks. This is why I'm building Project Infinity. This is why I build certain things to help us as American citizens hold these people responsible. This is why I'm starting things about dealing with solutions, because I want us to focus on the solutions. We can converse about the problem like we've been doing right now. But if nothing's going to change and all we're going to do is complain, what's the purpose? I listen to so many of my mutuals. I love them 100%, but I find myself often saying, what's the solution? And I don't think too many of us are focused on that, including myself. I'm focused on it more than I see anybody else, but I have to be consistent with it on a day-to-day basis, coming up with solutions and ideas and trying to implement them, or at least pitch them and talk to people about them, and then open up the door for them to talk about it too, because the more people involved in changing the world the way we see it, or at least the more people involved explaining their problems, because we're not a monolith, we can come up with solutions to all problems. I was looking at it the other day. There's only really like 8 core things that Americans really talk about and care about. It's really only like 8. And that is income and jobs, healthcare, taxes, immigration, education and opportunities, safety and justice, freedom and rights, and environmental and climate. Those are like the 8 things that we consistently are asking stuff for over and over and over and over again. Those are the laws in which these people are always creating stuff around. And they're always, one party wants to help the people, one other party wants to help the rich people. They never want to help the same people, which is the constituents. Like always, every last one of them has a portion in which they're giving billionaires. And it's usually like a huge difference, like 70% billionaires, 30% the people. In everything they design, it's that way. We help the rich and powerful for the majority, but we'll pitch it on TV about, okay, how do we get the rich people what they want and get regular people thinking that we're doing it for them? Oh, let's just talk about, economics and put more money in your pocket. So what if I only give them $200? It sounds good to them because that's what they want. So $200 it is. And then everybody else is making $300,000, $16,000, $10,000. But the majority of Americans in that 99% below, or, like at least I'll say 85% of us are living paycheck to paycheck. You don't get shit out of it. You either come break even or you owe a few $100s to a few $1,000, a couple $1,000s a year more. And you're like, wait a minute, you mean tell me they're robbing from the poor and giving to the rich? Exactly. But do you understand the mind games and how many millions of dollars they don't put in to get you to think this way? It is so crazy how they spend more money to get you to believe a certain thing, Americans to believe in a project or whatever, to save somewhere around the same money or a little bit more than what they spent. Their investment to confuse you and lie to you and get you to believe that something for you is in the hundreds of millions. Consistent advertising, marketing, stars coming out and agreeing with certain bills or non-bills. The confusion of it. Should I vote yes for this or should I vote no for this? Because I don't want it, but I believe if I say yes, it means I don't want it. And if I say no, it means I want it. Hold up. Let me go get a book. They confuse the shit out of you. And oftentimes you're voting for something that you really don't want to vote for because you should have voted no in order to get the thing you wanted. There's a reason why they make that shit confusing. Both parties do. Should be just, do you want this or do you not? It works for you this way. It doesn't work for you that way. Nope. If you want this, say no. Like, fuck. Why don't you make it so that I can write it so that if I want it, just put it in what I want and I say yes to it so I don't get confused. They spend millions of dollars to confuse you. Ask yourself why. Because it can make it simple. Why do they make bills or laws whereas they'll write you a blurb about it helps lower taxes? I'm like, okay, well, my taxes low. But at the same time, it raises this, it raises that, and all they do is give you one blurb. And it's like, yo, why don't you make that bill just one thing it does? Quit putting pork in it. Quit like making every bill have 17 plans in it. 150 plans in it. I want this one. I don't want this one. I want this one. I don't want it. Don't want it. Don't want it. Make those separate so I can say I want and I don't want. That way, the majority of Americans will vote for what they want. And then you can get a real toll on what the American people want and what they don't want. And these representatives can vote the way of the American, the majority in their community. If the majority of your community, which in some of these states, these Republicans, their constituents, the people who are in their communities, 30-something%, 38% of their communities are on SNAP. The same amount, 30 to 40%, are on Medicaid or Medicare. To cut it really means that 1/3 or almost ain't even 2/3, but 1/3 of your people, a little over 1/3, are on it. You're going to screw over 1/3 of your entire constituency? It's not going to help the 2/3 at all. It's only going to hurt the 1/3. I think these leaders need to have like a convention of all Republicans and Democrats together in the communities in which they serve. And they should be on the stage and get a talk to from their communities. Because in every state, even though you may say it's a red state or blue state, they still got Democrats and Republicans. It just means that the Republicans are the majority. And these people need to come together and get it from both the Republicans and the Democrats, the questions that need to be asked. And therefore, these people who are Republicans and Democrats, and I know not MAGA, but the ones who got any sense in their fucking head, need to come together and start talking about what is it that you want? Because it seems like this party or that party is not listening. And we're, as American citizens, getting tired of the double speak, the possibilities of what they mean. You hear these Republican pundits on these different shows saying Democrats are missing the whole story, rural America or whatever America. First of all, you don't know all these people. You're just talking about your little test you've done about what America believes. But they're like, you don't know what they're doing and you don't know what they believe and all stuff like that. And Democrats don't know and Republicans are saying, Democrats are saying the Republicans don't know. And I'm like, you know what? We need to have this whole thing on a tour of Republicans and Democrats getting asked questions in front of Republican, Democrats, and independents. You need to be held to account the things that we think as American citizens that you're doing and not doing, not just in your little home where you think it's a haven. The American citizens need to know why and who you're beholden to. Because the way it seems, there's not the American citizen. People making decisions based on their God. I'm happy for you to be making a decision on your God, on your life. But when you're talking about your constituents are Jewish, atheists, your constituents are Christians, your constituents are Buddhists, your constituents, non-denominational, whatever it may be, Christian, non-Christian, whatever. And you're telling me you're going to go off for your religion and I don't believe in your religion? Why would I put you in office? Your thing is supposed to go off of the actual policies that help American citizens. Your religion should not be making a decision in government. It should help you understand like your values. Like for me, when I grew up Christian, it was like love thy neighbor. You don't see them talking about loving no neighbor. They hate everybody. They ain't never trying to vote for something that benefits the next door neighbor unless that neighbor has a yacht. Money is the root of all evil. That's all they deal with is talking about money, 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 money. And it's always going upward to somebody else who's got it and straight out of the pockets of those who don't. And those who don't need a break. And they're like, give me a tax cut. Give you a tax cut. You're going to give 70% of these tax cuts are going to go to the top 1%. You got the top 5% getting monies. 5% of people who make a certain amount of money, they're getting a good percentage of this tax cut. You got the rest of us getting somewhere around, if it ain't like 10% of these funds, 20% around there, it's zero, negative, meaning you owe more money than you're going to get anything. So the poorer people, you're going to owe more money when this thing passes every year. Not make money. Oh, think about at least $500 to $700 shorter in your pocketbook every year when this thing passes. You could barely get by now. You're living check to check. The average family in this country, not poor only, the average family in this country, if a $400 bill comes out of nowhere that you didn't plan for, the majority of people, 80%, will lose either their home, if that happens every 2 or 3 months, they own a house, it would have to take losing that $400 3 months in a row before you probably lose your house. For a poor family, that one could break you. And you're talking about taking anywhere between $400 to $700 out of your check every year now. That's going to break a lot of you. And guess what? The majority of the people on it are white. These people don't care about you. I told you that a million times. I tell you a million times again. They do not care about you if you're white and poor. They only care about you if you're the quote unquote working class, which is crazy because everybody works, but they give working class to white people making a certain amount of money. Then they give like the middle class also, again, the same thing that they kind of call the working class. And then urban, meaning black and poor people. Urban neighborhoods. Even the classifications of who we are as we vote are racist as fuck. It's crazy, y'all. I mean, it is what it is in this country. The only people who are going to make it better are the citizens. And if the citizens come together and say, you know what, enough is enough. And I'm thinking about how to do that again. As I said, this Saturday? Yeah, this Saturday will be Project Infinity at 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time for people who are my members. They can attend. And we just talk about the issues at hand and provide solutions and try to figure out how we're going to make this stuff work. I've been working on the economic aspect of it, meaning my thing that I came up, the solution that came with about us economically for those of us who give a damn about each other is we need to stop being so beholden to billionaire brands, right? And start being beholden to brands that we seek out that may be less than as far as like name wise, but great quality. Like if you like what the Chinese showed us when the tariffs came out, they showed us that there were phones too, but there were purses and clothing that Americans love and is very fashionable, but it's a brand name and you're like, oh man, this is a nice brand. And China's making that same brand because again, it's a Chinese brand that they make there, sent to Italy and slapped like an Italian logo on it. And you're buying it for $600, $6,000. And it was China who made it and they slapped it on. And it may not even be an original design. It may be a design that China already has. And that they just, oh, I like that design. Let me get that with my label on it and blah, blah, blah. And it comes to them. Depends on how expensive the brand is, whether the Chinese factory put the label on, or the brand itself thinks that it's got to have its own font and all that and don't want to release that. It comes to their factory and they just tag on, keep it on this way. That shoe, which cost them $10, $15 and sold for $3,500, Americans need to say, you know what? Fuck y'all. Y'all don't care about us. Why the fuck we caring about you? Your quality ain't that specifically brilliant. If I can buy the exact same cloth, exact same leather, the exact same whatever, rubber soles, the exact same dress shoe, the exact same cell phone, all that shit like that, for $100 instead of $3,500, then we should be able to put together something. That's what I'm doing. I'm working on the economic aspect where we buy products, make sure they're quality, resell them, keep it transparent, and say how much they cost, and you can make a little change in the same process. It's all about the people rising instead of these billionaires rising. Everybody's going to rise in the process. It's like buying shit and also getting paid to buy it. Why? Because I think it's about time that we have ethical and caring capitalism. People call like socialism and different things. I'm like, no, it's still capitalism. It's still capitalism works if you add ethics to it. These unethical capitalists who go around just making hand over fist and fucking everybody over, that's been our problem. If you took capitalism and made it more ethical, more caring, it'd be a situation where if I break bread with you, you should be able to break bread with me. If you buy from me, I should be able to give you a little something on the side for buying from me instead of buying from that person who don't care about you. And if I can get it at a low rate and sell it to you at a reasonable rate, and there's a difference between what my profit is yours, I become a partner with you. It helps you have a better life. It helps you buy things at a better rate, good quality, gives a shit what the name is on it, as long as it's good quality, no trash. And then we can make a better lives for ourselves. The American dream is capable. It's possible. But as long as we stay into this dog-eat-dog capitalism aspect of it, the poor are going to get poorer. The rich are going to get richer. These people had no shame in passing this bill knowing it was going to rob the poor and give to the rich. Literally, poor people that they bitch and moan about that need to pull themselves up by their bootstraps, they're taking money out of their pockets and putting it into their own and gave two shits about it. Still got the same ideas about the poor people, the ones in which they're robbing. And they consider themselves Christians or godlike doing that. What the world's coming to, I don't know. But those are the things I'm working on. Thank you for the donation, DJ. I appreciate you. But those are the things I'm working on, ladies and gentlemen. Because that's the only way we're going to make stuff happen for us is if we focus on each other and not just on our individual selves. We live in this country together. It's a we thing, not a me thing. Your God and mine and whatever you believe in and not believe did not create us and have us here so that our lives are so separate that we don't care about each other. Our lives are conjoined, whether you like it or not. And the sooner we learn that, and the sooner we become an addition to people's lives instead of a subtraction, that's when we become a better people. Majority of us walk around, we got care in our heart. We see somebody down, some of us will say a kind word. If we see somebody unhappy, we'll go and smile and ask them for things. I understand a lot of Americans, a lot of human beings are like that. But we need to make that more normal than people who stand out. And the way you do that, I believe, is that you add everything that Americans want to be able to make it happen. If you're going to go shopping and every time you shop, you make money and you get a good product, then how do you lose? Are you going to want a Gucci that gave you this good quality product and all you're doing is walk around with a Gucci name on and that's it? And you spend $380? Or do you want something that has the quality of Gucci or even better, but doesn't have the Gucci name on it? And when you bought it for whatever amount of money, you made money instead of saved money. Why the hell would you buy a Gucci? It's because you like the name? Oh, well, you're going to be losing money while people who are buying whatever brand over here that's just as good quality as that, coming from the same manufacturer, costing you $150 cheaper or whatever it may be, and you made money while getting it, you're the sucker buying that crap over there that is the same quality with a name of Gucci on it. Fuck about no Gucci. Gucci ain't never did shit for me. Nike ain't never did shit for me. Why the hell am I fucking with a company that don't want to do shit for you except for fuck you over and get tax cuts and take your money and then tell you that you should be lucky? We create the jobs. We're the job creators. Well, then fuck you. We'll create our own jobs. We'll create our own industry. And we'll become our own people. And we don't need people to rule over us. We'll make the determination of how we want this world to be. It's we the people, not we the rich people. Not we just the most powerful people. It's called we the people for a reason. It wasn't supposed to be that this one class was going to fuck everybody over and we're supposed to like it. That's that monarchy shit that we left and fought, or at least the Europeans did, left and fought and got away from. We ain't trying to go back. So that's what I'm working on, one of the solutions that I'm working on. And as we continue to talk more and more about solutions, we'll hash things out. We'll see problems in the things that we create. But as long as we're still like, oh, there's a problem here, fine. Take that, try to solve it. Become a group or people that are avid solutionists. I made it up. That's who I am. Is when I find a problem, I got to find a solution. I've been trying to find one with Donald Trump. Other than God calling him home just by luck, that I haven't been able to find one for him. But the things that they're doing to us, I found ways to get around that. Economically, we can take control of our own destiny and not worry about billionaires. Because all billionaires are doing is buying the product in bulk, getting it, bringing it here, selling it to us for a shit ton of money, more, and becoming the richest people in the world. We can do the same thing with each other. To hell with those who don't care. And it ain't got to be all of us. Just enough of us that want to control our destiny and not be controlled. Having billionaires say they're going to do something. Take the sting out of it. Do it all you want. You can't fuck with me now. I've taken control of my own economics. I don't need your stanky ass job. I don't need your stanky ass product. I don't need your stanky ass at all. I got we the people. I don't need this one person. And they're helping each other out. What would make it a situation where you wouldn't want to buy it or deal with it? If you're making money and the people who are buying it, you're buying it from, are making money, and the products are good always, based upon what the people want, can't go wrong. And that's a solution that I came up with that as far as economics. There are other ideas and solutions I've been trying to work on for healthcare, so we don't need them. For all other aspects of life. With the advent of technology, with the advent of cryptocurrencies or that whole genre of things and creative ideas, we can transform the world the way we want to see it. With technology, we don't have to wait on government or anybody else. Doing the laws as they are, we can creatively change our destination in this country. It just takes people who are dedicated, focused, and ready for change. Not temporarily. Like I've told you guys many times before, these racists, these sexists, these xenophobic people, they wake up every day joyful, dedicated, focused on fucking with those people so that they rise and those other people that I mentioned fall. They wake up with energy to fight against anybody that threatens their superiority, quote unquote, because it's not superiority, it's actually weakness, it's inferiority that causes this. But for us, as regular human beings that ain't focused on that and focused on helping each other, we got this. We got this. We don't need them. We just need dedicated people that are willing to seek and search like better ways for us to work, for this world to work for us through capitalism, but through capitalism that actually is ethical and cares about people, right? And it's all good. What can you do? Make laws about not being not having capitalism that cares about people? I mean, think about that ad. What they're doing is what he calls capitalism that cares. It's ethical capitalism. Sounds like socialism to me. I'm like, oh, really? So caring about people through economics is socialism. When I'm just dealing with supply and demand and nobody gets anything for free. Everybody gets something that they deserve. That's what you call capitalism. That's what you call socialism. You see how they don't know what the hell socialism is? It's still capitalism. It's just capitalism that cares. Their thing is to try and get words like, oh, it's capitalist, it's socialism. And then people run the opposite direction like they saw Roach. It's like, nah, bro. You got to destroy capitalism for me, what I'm doing, to be destroyed. Again, you got to think smarter than them. And it's not that hard to do because they really don't think. They just regurgitate the same old shit that happened in the past. They're trying to reintroduce history, and I'm being revolutionary, leaving history behind, but learning from it. It's a big difference. Maybe it'll work, maybe it won't. But I will die trying because I truly believe most Americans want to have a better life. They're not trying to go back to where everything was harder for them to do. But we'll see. Yeah, socialism, azure, should not be a dirty word. It's not. But again, they've thrown so many names on top of that to make it seem like it's the worst thing in the world. They try to call stuff capitalism. If you really go back and focus on where they said before what capitalism was in this country, you'll go back to when they had they blacklisted a lot of creators in film and television back in the day, and they used to do all these, pretty much what Donald Trump is doing away, going out and finding people and calling them communists and arresting them and shit like that. And what's so tripped is what they considered communism back then is it'll trip you out. The way they how would you say, not reinvent it, but I guess you can say that, but the way they defined not capitalism, but communism then is outrageous. They made it seem like it was the worst thing on the planet. And what they actually did was in the blacklisting of people. Listen to this for a second. How did you get Americans to believe in this? I don't get. So back in the day when it was like I think in the late 30s, whatever it may be, in film and television, writers and directors and things of that nature, you would have like one director, big time director, right? And that big time director and producing record label, but the movie theater, they all were like the upper class people. So it would be the lowest that would be amongst them would be the star, right? You wouldn't see like even then back then the star was the lowest on the totem pole. That was a person that was owned by the studio, so to speak, but there was the one that was bringing them out of dollars in because they was always being in every movie, leading every movie. But then you had like executive producers and producers and writers and stuff like that. But writers was kind of on the low end. They weren't. But you would have like one writer who wrote these movies that was like the biggest star. But he'd have 1,500 people, not that many, but he'd have a lot of people behind him writing for him, and then he would claim the name even if he didn't write the entire script. He may have came in where they got a script from like a 20-year-old who thought it was great. They'd buy it from him, and then they'd give it to the head writer, and the head writer would have it and have all these people below him write the screenplay. And he would take credit for it. And they paid him their little money, but keep him up here on the top echelon. And so you had the studio heads. You had all these rich people attending these parties, and the star, the female and male star, just, all hanging out. Well, one time, and I know this was a movie, but it was like there's one of the writers who was wealthy and was a part of everybody, a big person, but the people who wrote for him, they were wanting to get ahead. They were like, man, these are all white people. There ain't no black people in this situation at least. And they wanted to like, you know what? I wrote the screenplay. I did this. I mean, at least I can get a credit on my own shit, right? You know what I'm saying? But what's up? And the dude was like, he was hesitant. But then he had a change of heart. And he wanted the writers who wrote the screenplays, because they would end up getting a bunch of writers who would full on write a screenplay, hand it to him, throw his name on it, and it would sell. But without his name on it, it wouldn't sell. So it's like, oh, we love the screenplay type of thing. And then all this writer did was say, let's say the guy's name is Ted. I believe Ted should get credit for this screenplay. Are you being communist? What the fuck? No, I'm not trying to be a communist. I'm just saying that he should get credit for it. He wrote it. He did everything. Came with the idea. You know, just slapping my name on it just doesn't seem right. I think he should have it. Is that right? These uppity people were pissed off that he was talking about sharing the money split with another person. How communist of you. To the point of this person was arrested, interviewed. This is real shit though. It's an interview, like, you know, with like a committee, like McCarthy and all stuff like that, with the committee interviewing him. So is it true that you asked to get the writers, you know, paid for writing a screenplay? And like, yeah, you know, and gasp. I'm like, what the fuck? The dude wrote it, edited it, and just handed it over to the head writer. Of course, he should get credit for something that he fucking created. But that was communist for them back then. And so when people talk about today, oh, being such a communist, I'm like, do you understand what that communist word means in America, or has its history in America, what it means? It doesn't mean what it actually is. You're literally saying that people are treating other people fairly, and there's something wrong with that. That's America's history. These people rob people on the fucking regular. And if you were talking about doing people right, it was communist. Just like now, when you talk about giving people health care because it would cost less because we spend more money with people who don't have health care going to emergency rooms without any money. But if we did it this way, where everybody get, you know, minimum health care for free, hell, we would save money. And people who don't know math, people who don't have a brain cell worth a damn, how could you give everybody insurance and it costs less? Because you're paying for every person that doesn't have an insurance. You think they just die off? No. Therefore, it's cheaper to keep people on insurance than it is to keep them off. Simple as that. That's why other countries are able to do it. But they keep selling them this idea that, oh, if you give everybody something, no, it costs less if everybody gets it, because it's preventative maintenance. If everybody was on insurance, at least to the preventative maintenance aspect of it, you know, just general insurance, general health care, you would catch most of the diseases beforehand, which you could probably solve, or, you know, cure cancer before, you know, mom or whomever, family member pass away. All these different things that happen, you could fix it, or at least catch it early. Mammograms, things of that nature. But if you don't have insurance, you're not making these plans. You're not doing preventative maintenance, and you're catching shit once you're fucking sick as a dog and you're in stage 4, or, you know, you're not too far away from having, you know, you got full on whatever it is. And you could have called it 2 years ago if you was going to the doctor every year being checked, because you had free healthcare insurance, at least for preventative maintenance stuff. Check up every year, free. Now everything else can be on a shift of payment. Who cares? But whichever way that makes it cheaper. But they don't want to venture off into helping everybody. Rich people don't care about poor people. Middle class people are learning that they want to be rich. So it's like, you know what? Fuck poor people. But they need these poor people so they can move from middle class to wealthy. So they give them shitty wages, have them working for them, but not giving a shit about them. At some point in time, American citizens, especially the poor and the middle class who care, have to surpass these people, because they ain't going to do shit to help you. I don't know why we keep on thinking that someday these people are going to wake up and say, we got to do right by American people, the poor and all that. We could solve poverty if we really wanted to, but we don't want to. We could solve immigration if we wanted to. We don't want to. All these things can have solutions to them. And the crazy part is trial and error. Create a solution for a year or two, see if it works, then tinker with it, make it better. In all these years, they have not come up with anything to solve them, just to prolong them the way they are. We still got the same system we had way back in like 1800s or some shit, 1960s and some shit. And here it is. What's new? These people keep trying the same things and expecting a different outcome. How many times have we tried that trickle-down economics? Over and over again. Republicans try the same thing and act like the outcome's going to come out different. Oh, we're going to give people good jobs. You done tried this shit at least 6 times in my lifetime. And every time you fail at it, it doesn't do what you say it's going to do. But they keep on trying it. Like, you guys are this stupid to think you're going to keep on trying the same shit. It's going to change. You're going to get the same outcome you got before. Tremendous debt. The deficit's going to blow the fuck up. They're going to have to raise the debt ceiling because we're going to go broke. Ain't going to have enough money. We're going to have to borrow money from other people. The bond numbers are going to go down, the interest and shit like that's going to go up. We're going to end up having a huge problem, a deficit that's going to be crazy, a debt that's going to skyrocket to trillions of dollars more, not cut, but increase. How in the hell can Republicans or anybody who wanted to vote for these fools say that they're fiscally conservative when every time they come in and they pass something, we lose trillions of dollars and don't gain trillions of dollars? It's a damn shame. But anyway, like I said, we got to come up with solutions. And also, I told you guys many times before, some of the solutions that I would love to pitch to some of these, senators and congressmen and women is that why don't you give the subsidies like you're giving? Like even Donald Trump came out and said, Elon Musk, we might have to doge him. And he's not trying to make him, I guess they're going to try and, deport him out of the country and say some crazy shit that whether it be true or not, I don't care. I don't care. Kick him out. Then they talk about he's going to be broke with all these subsidies that he gets a lot of subsidies. And I'm like, to solve the problem that we have also in this country of jobs, the government needs to stop giving billionaires money to create jobs and call them producers. Because in all honesty, the smaller and mid-sized businesses are the ones that produce the most for American citizens. The majority of us work in a mid-sized business or small business. That is the backbone of the economy in this country. Look it up. More of us are employed at middle, small, and small businesses. Not the majority that's working at these large corporations. So the backbone of American is mid-sized businesses and small businesses. That's how we pay our bills. So the government needs to be focused on giving these mid-sized and these small businesses subsidies to create jobs. Stop giving it to the billionaires because the billionaires aren't creating enough jobs. They're just creating wealth amongst themselves, buying back stock. The mid-sized businesses and the small businesses, they need these subsidies in which they have to create jobs in order to fulfill whatever contract they get with the government. That literally means if you go to a mid-sized business that has 100 employees and you give them what you gave Elon Musk, a $400 million contract to build whatever, and they have the expertise to do it, but they're small, that business has to grow. That business has to use that $400 million to build what you said instead of buying back stock and bullshit. That company has to hire people, not go to a major corporation that they already own and have their workers work twice as hard for the same pay and keep the $400 million in their own pockets, or as much as many they can of that $400 million. But if you give it to mid-size or maybe even 2 mid-sized businesses, each getting $200 million, hey, now you got to create 100, 1,000 jobs. There is no putting no stock into anything. There is no buybacks. They have to offer jobs to fulfill the job, to fulfill the contract. They can't do it with the amount of people they got. Therefore, if you give it to a small and mid-sized business, these subsidies, they're going to produce jobs. There's no doubt about it. They have to fulfill the job. That way you make sure that the economy grows. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Why hasn't our government, our leadership thought of this shit? Why haven't they gotten students who are in robotics or in the rockets and things of that nature and these brilliant brains and said, hey, start a rocket company and we're going to give you guys 400 million subsidies to be able to take a rocket from here to Mars. Smaller company, has to create jobs, has to hire brilliant brains, automatically creates living wage jobs, creates, stronger communities. But when you give it to a billionaire, what are they doing? Finding everything and every way to fuck over everybody they already have working for them so they can keep that money and not have to give it back to the government. Now I gave you two solutions. One on how to fix the economy for us, economics for us, and another on how to give subsidies to small and mid-sized businesses so that we can also grow the economy the right way. Offering more American dreams instead of giving the people who already achieved the American dream an additional dream. Give the people who are working hard and trying to get by and trying to get loans to do this, the subsidy so they can grow and hire enough people so that we can start creating the American dream for the majority of Americans and not just a few. That's upward mobility. That's coming from nothing to something. I'm getting tired of our tax dollars going to people who already have more than their fair share and that won't pay their fair share of taxes and won't create the jobs that they promise every freaking year. It's getting old. It's time it works for the people and not just for rich people. All right. I've said my piece for today. I got to get something to eat here pretty soon. Pretty tired. But just wanted to tell you guys, I thank you. I appreciate you for being here, being a part of the whole process. Thanks again, DJ, for the donation. What happened here? Oh, okay, cool. Anybody else? Thank you. Who was it? Root Interplanet Janet, thank you for being here. DJ, thank you. Swift Returns, thanks for being here. Alice Early, thanks for being here. Appreciate you. Who else is here? I hear you, VD Hertz. I saw that. Vera, thank you for being here. Always a pleasure. Azure, I appreciate you. All right. I think that's all my members and some of my regulars. Much love to y'all. Y'all gonna have a good night. Don't want people to have healthcare, housing, jobs. Yeah. I don't think they want it either, Alice. Like I said, the people have got to make these decisions now. Our politicians don't care about us. They're showing it. You know what I'm saying? And the ones who do care about us are the Democrats to some degree. But again, they're still beholden to their billionaires. Like the Democrats are being told by a big core of the Democratic Party that we're tired of the old games and you being beholden to billionaires. We got issues that we need dealt with, and we're tired of hearing, that you can't put the people that we want empowered. There are many people that wanted AOC to take that one position of power because, they just felt like it's about time to give the young heads opportunities to start growing and making decisions that the American citizens are more on the side of. And because the Republicans have demonized her to some degree, which I don't give a damn what they demonize. These people are horrible human beings. I give a shit about what they want. It's about time that the people get what they want. And the majority of the people want AOC because she's focused on doing right by the people. Now, I ain't going to say she's 100% for anybody, but I'm just saying it's better than the system that we have that's consistently looking billionaires in the face and saying, okay, let's do it. Jasmine Crockett being another one that's ready to fight and say what she believes. There are a bunch of other ones that are actually speaking up and being a part of the change. People who are trying to run for office, Mamdani, that are talking about doing things. I don't know him personally, and I'm learning more about him, but the things that he's talking about doing, like for the people, he's speaking like a person who knows people. The people want change. If we want to go back to anything at all, we want to go back to where we only had one fucking job can take care of a family. We don't want to go back to the racist shit back in the day. We don't want to go back to the sexist shit back in the day. We don't want to go back to the day when women could not vote, even though these are the things they want. We want to go back to the fact that we had somewhat of a living wage in this damn company, in this country, where we could literally have one parent working a job and take care of a family and not be in the poorhouse completely. And if mom and dad both have a job, oh shit, we live in middle class. Now mom and dad can both have one good job and a nice side job and still be living paycheck to paycheck. There's something the fuck wrong with that. If anything that we need to go back to, we need to go back to giving a damn about the American citizen and the ones who are actually putting the money into everybody's pocket. Buying the Gucci, buying the Chevrolet or the Fords, whatever. If the American people don't get a break, sooner or later, something else is going to break. And it ain't going to be good for rich people. They're going to wait until the temperature boils. Because I'm going to tell you right now, if this bill passes, I give it 5 years before the MAGA people start hunting down their leaders. Like they've been hunting them down. I want you to understand something. And I've been seeing it I don't watch CNN, but I see clips of CNN and MSNBC and other places. These people who have been coming up missing or dead, meaning like the Democrats who were unalived, politicians here recently and shot at and are fighting for their lives still. The Donald Trump being shot at twice. All these different things. These Republicans are so quick to point fingers at people. And it turns out, even the person who just unalived somebody here recently, the young kid who shot the firefighters, Republicans, MAGA was already out saying these liberals this, these liberals that. And then once you find out he is a Republican, his family was a Republican, all of them they were just at the White House sitting at Donald Trump's desk with Trump hats on. The entire family's Trumpian, MAGA. And when you see these last unalivings, whether it be the Democrats who were shot in their own homes, where the man visited, had 70 or 45 people on the list, at least 45 in the day that they knew it. There was more they hadn't counted yet, but 45. He had been to 4 homes in which at least would have been 8 people, including their kids, probably 10, 12, I don't know how many kids they had. It didn't tell us. But adults, it would have been at least 8. He tried to kill that day. They just weren't at home. He got 4 of them. Killed 2, harmed the other 2, left her daughter just totally just destroyed to see her mom and dad get murdered right in front of her. All MAGA. They're taking out Democrats thinking that, oh, we're being patriots. The minute these same people, the MAGAs, realize that they're getting effed over by Trump and the rest of them, and they're not going to have food to eat, the snap's going to be gone, they're going to snap all right. They're going to snap. And they're not going to be coming after Democrats. They're going to be coming after Republican leaders. It's going to be a free-for-all. I predict it right now. This bill passes, and all these little red states who always talk shit about liberals in California and New York and all this other shit, the ones who receive a lot of subsidies from us, our tax dollars are no longer going into their pockets, but it's going into billionaires' pockets. Yeah, they're going to be hunting billionaires and Republicans, and they're going to be Republicans, just like they are now. Out of all these people who have been unalive in here recently, they've been all Republican. The last Democrat I know of that has tried to take one of them out or follow some crazy ideology and tried to take them out was when they tried to unalive Steve Scalise. That was the last one I can remember making the news, at least. The last 6 to 10 of them have been Republican, MAGA. And they keep on saying both sides, both sides. I'm sorry. Both sides are not batshit crazy right now. It's only one side. They're doing it to both sides. Two of them tried to take out Trump. One took all the people of color. One took people of was it Jewish? Not Jewish. Was it Muslim? Whatever it was. It was a synagogue. I think it was Jewish. And then they took out 2 of these politicians. All of them in the name of MAGA or Republican. And these Republicans out here, oh, it's the liberals on both sides. The anchors on news. Well, it's a lot of crime going on both sides. Leave the both sides shit out. Be realistic. The last time it was a both side was Steve Scalise. That's been a long time ago, fool. It is only Republican out here killing people, even in their own party. These Republicans are killing on both sides, but the actual killers are Republican or MAGA. Don't conflate the two. And the news needs to make that clear. Instead of riding that line, trying to be, I don't know what they're trying to be, non-factual. Because if they were factual, then you would put up video of when the last time a Democrat tried to unalive a Republican because they believed in Biden or Obama. I don't remember that ever happening. Keep it real. All right. I look at it this way. If you're saying when they pass laws, gun laws, something's gonna go down. I know it. It's gonna be a war against them if they do pass it. But they don't understand dictatorship. They literally think that Donald Trump's gonna always be on their side. No, Donald Trump fucks over everybody that gets close to him. Him and Elon Musk was cool, super cool, to the tune of $200-something million. He let him come into the government, steal all our information, and have fun with it. And then decided to fuck him over. Then he got mad and tried to fuck Trump over. Now he's pissed off at the whole thing. I'm like, like I said, a bunch of losers with money fighting. It's time the grown-ups took the wheel back. And the grown-ups are the people who have common fucking sense. Because trust me, neither of them have it. They're batshit loco. And it's about time we took the wheel and say, you know what? None of this crazy shit anymore. Let's come up with common sense ideas. And like I said, there's really only like 8 things that we care about. We can get tax reform if people know exactly what they want for taxes. If it's a flat rate, not flat rate, whatever. The American people should start making these decisions and then asking their leaders to either follow those or kick rocks. What's your idea? Well, we should have a flat tax for this. Okay, cool. Boom. If you that's good, I want to vote for you. But if you're saying, oh, let's go in, let's do this, kick rocks, bro. You either on the same plane or you off this bitch. That's what we need to do. And the way we do that is American citizens, whether you're Republican, Democrat, Independent, start talking about what it is that you really want. Quit talking about what you hate about certain people, what culture and your racism and your biases. Fuck all that. What do you want? If you say the first thing you want is, I don't want this person to have, I don't want that person to have, that ain't what you want. That's what you don't want them to have. What do you want? And if you lead with what you don't want somebody else to have, you are one hateful person. Because this world is big enough for all of us to have the things that we want to have in our particular lives or community that doesn't harm another life or community. If a community wants a bridge in their community because of certain reasons, that the water gets too high or whatever, because a lot of flooding and irrigation is messed up, that community should have it. It shouldn't be you saying, I don't think they should have that. I don't want to put my taxes toward that. Who the hell are you to tell what that community needs? Because you're going to need something. You don't want this community to tell you what you can't have. We can have what we need in our community, even if it's just the mere basics of shit. I can understand not no extraordinary stuff, but even the basics in life, each community should have. If the roads are messed up, the roads should be fixed. We shouldn't be debating on whether we do that or not. The roads not being fixed leads to people's cars being tore up, axles being fucked up, and dents and shit, holes and tires blowing out. A lot more is being spent if the roads aren't taken care of. So those are the things that are basics that should be taken care of. And in certain communities, they are not. And if they're asking for that, there should be nothing wrong with America saying, hey, look, in Texas or Chicago or Mississippi, they need roads. We should have no problem getting them roads because you're going to need a bridge. You're going to need more houses. Hello, it's easy. All you got to do is extract the hate, and it becomes a lot easier. Get rid of the me, and start singing we. What do we need as Americans? It's not a lot to ask to have people give a damn. And it's not a lot to ask for your representatives to fucking represent you. And the easiest way, I think, to be able to solve some of these problems and hold these people accountable is that each community should have a way of talking to each other and being able to say, this is what our community wants. Because listening to Lisa Murkowski or whatever leader tell us what their community wants is trash, because we don't know if that's true because we can't trust them. But if we had a way to notify that an app or something that determined, oh yeah, the majority of the people, and like I said, these 8 things that we have that most Americans want, if there was an app out that had all 8 things on there and asked the citizens, a survey of what they find to be more important, and continue to say, okay, you figure that, affordable housing is important. How would you solve affordable housing? And listen to the people in their individual communities, you can start to get a consensus on solutions that the majority of a person's constituents would vote for. And if the majority wants it, then the majority should win it. Then your money is going towards something that everybody's paying into that the majority of people want. It shouldn't be everybody's money going into something that 10% of the people want or the top 1% want, but all our money's going to it, even though we don't want it nor will ever use it or need it. It's just disgusting. Like, for instance, how many of y'all are going on a rocket trip in your life? So why is there billions of dollars going to people putting rockets out there trying to build another fucking world up on another planet, and none of us is going? And even if there's a small amount of us that would ever go, why is billions of dollars of everybody's money going to build something for 1% of people who will go up there? The 1% should be invested in this, not the 99%. Our money should not be going towards something that isn't going to help any of us personally. It's going to give rich people a chance to go up on another planet, and we got to pay for that shit? It's insane. How about we take care of the people who here and ride this bitch out till it explodes or some shit? It's just insane. But anyway, I done had enough. I done had enough for the day. I'm about to get some rest after this. I done wore myself out. Love y'all. Y'all have a good day. This is all about, again, those are the solutions that I came up with. Just, one of them off the top of the dome. The rest of them I've been thinking about for a minute. And I've been building these things because I truly believe we need to solve the problems. We need to stop allowing these people who aren't creative. I don't think most of our leaders have a creative bone in their body. That's why we keep circulating the same shit year after year after year after year, because we don't have anybody with a creative soul. Most of these people are regurgitating the same shit that other people have been regurgitating for hundreds of years and try and revamp it with stupid shit. Oh, we should take this and put it over here. Why don't you just create something new? Because it hasn't worked this far. Why don't you create something new? How can we help the people? Let's create something new instead of regurgitating the old. What worked in the old shit? Oh, keep 1 through 3. 5 through 10 or 4 through 10 has never worked. Chuck those bitches and start anew. Quit trying to rearrange them. They never worked in 30, 40, 60 years. Move on already. You're kind of slow. Quit trying to make something work that has never worked. Just like trickle-down economics. It hasn't worked. Revamp it or quit talking about it. It's like watching, I was telling a friend the other day, I get tired. We went to the movies and saw Ballerina. And during the previews, they started showing us all these movies. Excuse me. But in all these movies, I'm sitting there like, I'm 54 years old. I said, dude, we spent 10, 15 minutes or 20 minutes watching pre-commercials and shit and movie trailers and shit before the movie starts. And I said, do you understand that it was like 8 movies? 6 of those bitches are remakes. I'm like, can we be creative already? Why we gotta keep on having, look who called you or who called on the phone or some bullshit 18. The fuck? Halloween 75. Figure something else the fuck out. Quit doing the same shit. It's like a person who's slow or something keep on saying the fucking same word. I'm like, I heard it the first fucking time. I don't need to see Halloween 75. Fucking be creative. Take a risk already. It's the same thing with politicians. I'm 54. I'm getting tired of seeing the same shit on repeat fail, and you keep trying it every time you win. Oh, let me try this. Put this in. We tired of the fucking 8-track. We're on MP3s and further. Quit bringing up the 8-track. Sheesh. All right, I'm done now. My old ass is flipping out. I am done. I love y'all. Y'all have a great day. Hopefully you can have some Zen moments after this. Think about some of those solutions and bring up some of your own. We'll talk about them in the near future as I do my other show, which will be all about solutions. We'll talk about a problem and then we'll try and solve it. To me, I think it'd be kind of fun and inclusive. So that's what I'm building right now behind the scenes on top of the other things I'm working at. Whatever God gave me, I use to the fullest ability. I'm creative like that, and I like to see solutions after I talk about a problem. So right now, when I get finished with this, I'm headed for the solution. So I'll start sharing that this Saturday at 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, Project Infinity, where we'll talk about things like this and, input life and get to know each other a little bit. I appreciate you guys. It's for the members and all. And therefore, we can make the place a better place and listen to one another instead of just talking at one another. Listen to one another, learn, and then start implementing some of the solutions that we come up with. It's a we world. It's not a me world. So once we listen to each other, we can incorporate it together and make the world a better place. That's the way I see it. All right. Y'all have a good one. Y'all be safe. Much love to y'all. I'll see you on Tuesdays. I'll see you on Wednesday. All right. Much love. As always, I'll see you when I see you.